Alrighty, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Honors Podcast. Today with me, I have a very cool person from the graduating class of the Honors Program. Would you like to introduce ourselves for our listeners?
Welcome to the Honors Podcast.
My name is Paige Osche. I'm a senior here at High Point University. I'm a double major with French and English with a minor in creative writing, and I'm involved in so much stuff. I'm so excited to talk about it, but I am ready to get started.
And what to add, where do you come from?
I am from Charlton, Massachusetts. It's like a small town, central Massachusetts.
Okay, so to start, let's give us some more of what you're involved in.
Okay, so on campus, I think it's really important to stay, if you're going to do something on campus, kind of put your all into it. And so that's kind of what I've been trying to do. Because my majors are French and English, I love both of the communities that we have here in those departments. So I am a part of Apogee, which is the school's creative magazine. I'm editor-in-chief of that, and I work with a team under me, and we get to put together poems, short stories, and collect things from the students on campus. And we get to edit that and then publish it, which is really fun. I'm also the vice president of the French Club, so I get to co-host club meetings with our president, Shelby, which is really awesome. But in terms of everything else, I think it's just kind of small things here and there that I pick up for the English department, for the French department. I used to do club volleyball. That was really fun. I had a good time with that. And I'm also part of Alpha Phi Omega, which is another really great service fraternity on campus that we have. And I just like to keep myself involved.
Okay. Talking about... You had a poem that won an award a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
The dog in the bar.
A Party Girl and the Dogs of Guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really exciting. So last year we had an edition of the Apogee, and we had submitted poems, short stories, and photography, as well as art into the NCCMA Media Award contest. Basically, all of the colleges that have creative magazines in North Carolina all gather at a conference once a semester, and there's a panel that decides which submitted pieces, are, good enough to get the awards that they have. And luckily, I was able to get third place in mine, which is honestly a really big accomplishment, because if you think about all of the magazines from all the schools in North Carolina, and all of them are allowed to submit 3 poems each, I'm pretty sure. I mean, that's what we're allowed to do. And out of all of those, I was able to, hit the top 3. That was really, really fun to hear.
I know. I saw it posted on the Instagram or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. I was reading it and I was like, yeah, this makes sense for Paige. This is really good. But it was a really creative metaphor to have the dog come in about it. And I don't know. Was there any fun story or inspiration about that? Or
I mean, all my writing's a little dim, so I guess we're just going to get a little poetic now.
Think about the creative process.
Yeah. Essentially, I think everyone goes through life and there's this if you have the angel and the devil on your shoulder, there's always a little overwhelming sense of guilt that people have, especially when they're doing good things for themselves, doing good things, trying to have fun, maybe not doing that homework assignment and going out and having fun with your friends that one night. And I think that everyone kind of has that moment where they're kind of kicking themselves for just being human. And so the entire poem is kind of about these dogs representing all of the guilt that we have inside of us that just kind of attacks you even when you're trying to have fun. So the party girl, she's having a fun time and, she's sitting there doing everything that you should be doing as a college student. But there's always that nagging feeling that you're doing everything wrong and the world is against you and you're not a good person, when it's really oftentimes not true. But I think my message was received well by people who read it, which was really nice.
No, I agree. And I vibe to it because I'm in poetry right now with Cadeau. And
I love her classes.
Yeah. And you can't really control what you write about during a semester or class. This semester, I've just been writing a lot about like the future in regards to like technology and AI and like a meta reflection on writing itself. And it's very interesting. And because I'm an English major as well, so we think about this a lot. What are your thoughts, as mainstream and cliche as it is, but like how is writing and reading changing with, we hear about large language models and AI and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think there are some people who are trying to incorporate AI, and I think that it's great that we can recognize it as a tool that we can use. Like, I'm not going to lie, if I ever have a problem in my life, and I know that this sounds kind of crazy, but I know that all of my friends have at least a biased opinion about something, so I'm always like, well, what if I just ask ChatGPT what I should do? I know that it's kind of there for you and it will give you the answers that you kind of want to hear, but separating it from education, I think, can be a very useful tool if you need to like work things out in your head by yourself. Even just like life problems, which is kind of nice because you don't always need to go talking to everyone about everything, and sometimes you just need to sit with yourself and reflect. It's kind of like buying a little help book and like writing down your Mad Lib answers to, the things going on in your life. But in terms of academia, there's this thing that I'm trying to remember the name of, but it's essentially, Dr. Carlson told us about it, and it's called something atrophy, because muscle atrophy is when your muscles stop working because you don't use them enough.
Neuroatrophy?
Yeah, I think it's like neurological atrophy, something along those lines, something that has to do with, brain function. And essentially, people are trying to prove that AI, even being used for just generating ideas, is lowering our ability to critically think as people, which inherently it does, because you're relying on something else to do the critical thinking for you to even generate your ideas. And so I'm going to call it neurological atrophy, but I'm pretty sure there's a different word for it. But I do agree with that, and I think that we, in terms of research papers and coming up with ideas to write, I mean, as a creative writer, you should not be going to AI to learn how to write, because that is something that comes from your soul. And if you have something to write about, you should write about it. The know-hows of how to figure out structure and all of that should come from a teacher. It should come from someone who knows, the ins and outs of creative writing, or at least English in general, who has been well-read. ChatGPT and AI can give you answers, but, I mean, writing in itself is a human experience, so there's really no way to replicate that.
Yeah. But we don't really value that currently in like America's education system, because it's always been vocational, like technical writing, and like, can you write the memo? Can you write the email? But there is something, because I also love poetry, because I learned so much about these classmates who sometimes I've never met before this class, and a lot of times they are writing about themselves and their experiences, and AI can't write about your experiences. Like, that's something Dr. Vecchio had told me, because I had asked him about, like, what's the future of the English major in the world of large language models. And he was like, personal writing. Like, that's the last thing that would be taken away if it were ever able to do that is, I don't know, like a Neuralink implant is just like, write a poem about my, and it just accesses your memories.
And a lot of people don't think it's important, but there was this
something
video.
happens.
Yeah, like there's this video that I watched the other day, and it was Matthew McConaughey, actually, which is a little funny, but he was talking about it, and he was like, when all is said and done, and you really think about it, and you go about your day, you're a busy person, you have a job, you have a life, you're not thinking about poetry, you're not thinking about all of these little things that matter to some people but don't matter to a lot of other people, the humanities just as a whole. And then he's like, but when a person dies, or you lose, you're losing a loved one, or you go through a really hard relationship, you're searching for any answer or any person that has felt the way that you felt before. And where do you find that? Writing. People fall back on poetry. Like, what do you read at funerals?
Yeah.
Like, these are all the things that, like, when it comes down to it, people fall back on other people's human experiences to connect with themselves and with other people. And I don't think we value that enough. And I think it's really special. So even if someone hasn't read poetry in their entire life, but then, you know, their dad dies and they find one thing that connects with how they feel about that personal experience. Poetry did something for you, even if you felt like it was a small thing. We downplay its effect that it can have on our lives, and I think that that's something that everyone should know. They don't have to read poetry on a daily. Like no one's asking you to do that. It'd be good for you, but just think about the things that you fall back on, you know, when times are hard.
What's one of the first things you remember falling back on that got you into literature and storytelling, and where did this originate for you?
Back in middle school, I think a lot of people think that they're ahead of their time. Kids are like, this is a thing that no one else has ever felt before. This is the most new experience that I've ever had.
I listen to ABCD. It's
yes,
niche.
It is niche. And you need to discover for yourself that it's not. So whether that looks like going and talking to your friends about it and then they have a similar experience, or for me, embarrassingly, but honestly, it's kind of a universal experience for a lot of English majors, I went to like Wattpad and my notes app, and I was trying to write out how I felt in the most poetic way possible, because I was like, wow, if I can turn my childhood pain into something beautiful. Like, it was horrible writing. I was in like 7th grade. It wasn't going to be good. But the fact that I was able to talk to my notes app, that I was able to, what I did, which is kind of a little embarrassing but kind of funny, I wouldn't post things on Wattpad. I would save them as drafts, and I would have like books, but they'd be like chapters of my life. Yeah. And I would just keep them in my drafts, but I would have essentially a cover art for it, and like I could section off my life that way and write about it, and I dated and titled every entry that I had. So it was like I had my own journal. Sadly, it had to be on Wattpad, which is like a little cringe.
What is Wattpad? I've never heard of this.
It's a fan fiction app.
Okay.
Completely. So basically people just write. That's why it's embarrassing. Like, I didn't just use, I used my notes app, but that wasn't my primary method of, divulging all my secrets. So
that's funny.
It is funny. I
think fan
the
fiction of Paige Osche, but it's just like your poetry.
No, I've had my fair share of writing fan fiction. Embarrassingly, I'm not even going to get into that, but it's honestly a part of the process when you're young to start like dabbling in things. And we were talking in Dr. Carlson's class the other day about how some of the best books that we know are parodies or spin-offs, and you don't even know it and you just consider it literature. Like, if you've ever read or heard of The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, that is a spin-off of, pretty sure, the Odyssey, the Iliad, something along those lines. Like, they take another character, that might not have been the main character, and then they create an entire storyline around that one person to hit a niche audience. And I think that that's really cool. And like fan fiction, that's where it starts, but then it can lead to people making revolutionary novels that people can connect with like that.
And like making cinematic universes.
That too. Totally. I think I'm trying to remember some of the other books that Dr. Carlson was talking about, but we were reading Jane Eyre. Mm-hmm. And that's a fantastic novel. And then he was like, we're going to be reading this next novel, and it's called The Wide Sargasso Sea. It was made several years later. But it highlights one of the characters in the book that doesn't even have any lines. I don't think she does. And if she did, she really doesn't have a lot of in-depth like background or plot points to her. She was kind of a mystery throughout the entire novel, kind of served as a plot point. But someone decided that was an important character, took her, and then gave her an entire background story. And some people were like, that's fan fiction. She's taking characters. But that's an art in and of itself to do justice to an original work of art that is already so widely loved and known. And then to do something that is its own individual piece of art, but also paying like homage to something that was done before. So.
This is also kind of a reference to our good friend Shu.
Oh, yes.
I had read The Great Gatsby in high school, which is like Shu's whole like passion project.
Oh, it's like the whole kit and caboodle for her.
Yeah. And I really liked it. But I was also fixated on Daisy Buchanan's daughter as an interesting character. And like similar thing, a whole nother author had written this whole other book called Daisy Buchanan's Daughter that I then have not read yet because it was like so much thicker than I realized. But it was like the whole life of everything after like Daisy Buchanan, like her growing up in Paris and then coming back to the States and like getting involved in like being like basically a spy for the president. And it's like,
cool.
It's like she's barely present in Great Gatsby, but that was the only reason I like had an interest in her at all.
No,
was
exactly.
Because of Great
And you
Gatsby.
can also say that like they have prior fan bases that they can go off of to create these things. So they already know that they have someone that's interested in their work, and it's just if it's going to be well received or not. And that's kind of like the final thing. Like they don't have to worry about starting a whole new world, like J.K. Rowling making Harry Potter. Like there's so many spin-offs of Harry Potter, but like she was the one that made that original series. I'm not saying that it's easy to create a novel, but I think in terms of marketing and selling, it's a lot easier when you have a prior story that you can fall back on that you're basing something off of because you have people that already care.
Yeah, and you see that all the time in like film and media. Like the same stuff applies. Have you ever read any Rainbow Rowell novels?
Rainbow Rowell?
Rainbow Rowell, she's the author, and she has a really funny Harry Potter spinoff.
I actually haven't.
You would like it. Oh, it's so funny. I don't know if you would like it. Do you like vintage romance books?
I love any romance novels.
Okay, Rainbow Rowell wrote a book called Eleanor and Park.
Okay, what's that about?
It's like it's a teenage love story in the 80s.
The 80s.
And it's so beautiful. And it was like my first like romance book I had read that was like set in the 80s, but it was kind of some complex themes too. And it was so good. But I read it because I really like the author and I read her other stuff. But that's my book recommendation. Anyway, English.
Our tangent.
We need to talk about how you got here. Okay. You were a writing chick from middle school, fanfic.
Yes.
So,
That's the tangent.
English was early onset and all that stuff.
English was very early onset. It was always something that came very easy to me.
Okay.
I liked writing. I absolutely I can respect science fields. I didn't like how there was always a definitive answer because I struggled coming to one every time. That might have just been because I'm bad at science or I'm bad at math, what have you, but I really didn't like how definitive those things are, and that's just not something that interested me as much.
Yeah.
So when you can really interpret everything that you're doing, I mean, there are like rules to writing, like when you first learn how to write like an argumentative essay, obviously your teacher's gonna be like, you can't start with your conclusion, like this is, these are basic things that you have to know. But I don't know, it always came very easy to me, and I didn't know that I wanted to be an English teacher specifically, but that's the path that I'm headed on right now. When I first came to High Point, I was an elementary education major.
Really?
Yes. And I wanted to teach kiddos because I worked at a summer camp. I went to the summer camp in total for, pardon the joke, it's really not a joke, but I genuinely think it was between 6 and 7 years. And my last 2 years I worked there, and I loved working with kids. And I was like, I want to go and be an elementary school teacher. But then the more that I got into it, I realized that I cared so much about learning more about English, and I needed a job that was going to help me kind of engage my brain in the things that I cared about while also helping and teaching people.
Yeah.
And I think that I would be a great elementary school teacher, but I'd feel like I'd be ignoring some of the parts of myself that I wanted to nurture more. My love for literature. I can always do that on the side, but let's face it, teachers have a really busy life. Like, that is one of the most stressful jobs, and I wanted to make sure that I was surrounding myself with an environment that would help motivate me to continue on that path while also helping educate people. And I was like, an English professor would be a really fun thing because I can still surround myself with that high level of literature that I'm looking for, and I can still help kids and young adults that are going into this world and be of guidance to them while learning and teaching something that I care about. So.
Okay, so then what was the journey of finding college and ending up coming here? And then also, where did French come from? Where did the French major come in?
So, coming to High Point, I was I was struggling in senior year of high school, and I think a lot of people struggle in senior year of high school. There's some people that have a plan from 8th grade to senior year. They know where they want to go. They know where they want to apply. COVID hit me harder than it did to some other people. Just in the mental health department, I wasn't doing specifically fantastic. And I know some people have, like, great, I found high point, like, stories. It was honestly one of the only schools that I had applied to. My parents were like, this looks great. And I was like, yeah, honestly, that does look great. I kind of want to check it out. It's a beautiful campus. I need something that's going to give me structure. I need something that's going to help me get my life together, that's going to help me get, like, started on my path. So it wasn't even, and this sounds crazy, but it wasn't even about the English department or the things that drew me here. It was the fact that the school was so oriented on helping students get somewhere by the end of their college career. And I needed that structure desperately because of where I was in life at the time. And, you know, some people have their great. I had a great freshman year. I struggled a lot. Like, it was tough. And it wasn't the school. It was me, myself, learning how to be not at home, learning to find the things that I wanted to care about. And just identity crises, like, over and over again. I think every high school to college student is going to feel this at some point, but you could have a great first experience with high school, college, or you can have some trials and tribulations that kind of get you to where you are now. And I think that it took me a really long time to come to this place here right now. And all I can say is that I'm happy that High Point was the place that I, like, stumbled across for me to get to where I am now. The school has done so much. I found my best friends. It took me a year and a half almost to find people that I would stay here with consistently. One of my friends, her name's Anna. She was in the honors program with me. But her parents are professors at UNC Chapel Hill. And she really wanted to go there, so I spent my first year with her. And that was, like, my one person. And then she transferred out.
Yeah.
And so then I had, like, to relearn how to make friends again a year later. And so that was crazy. But now that I'm here, I have alumni that still come back to see me. I have clubs that I'm a part of that I have events for, formals to go to, friends to go, you know, make plans with on the weekends. And I think that that's something that I really needed. And I didn't get it at first, but I have it now.
Yeah.
And I think that High Point is a very small-knit community where we encourage people to participate and to be involved, and they do give you structure. And that's one of the great things about this school. In addition to the fact that their humanities department is, like, absolutely insanely awesome. You know, I mean, you and I both had Dr. Cadeau, Dr. Carlson maybe at some point, Dr. Paul, I can just go on, Dr. Vesio. All these teachers are so amazing, and they kind of talk to me like, not like I'm their kid, but like I'm a part of their family. And it's really sweet to have that one-on-one connection with people and have them help guide you through the whole life process. So I do currently appreciate everybody at this school for having everyone help teach me how to be a person, I think.
That's really good. And then what was the honors aspect of this? Like, how did you decide on the honors program? And what was, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what was that experience for you?
Like I said at the beginning, I was kind of like, I kind of just magically spawned here. It wasn't like a super conscious decision because of the place that I was in, but I was offered a position to the honors program. I don't remember applying for it, but you have to, and I did. So I think that subconsciously my brain knew that this was the place that I had to be at, because I was like, wait, I applied for this, and, like, in the hustle and bustle of applying for colleges, I think it just, like, completely slipped my mind. But then when I got here, I realized how special it was, because when it's on paper or on a computer screen and they're like, you're a part of this program, I'm like, oh, cool, that's awesome, can't wait to be there, you know, I want to see what it's about. But then when I first got here, they automatically put you in classes where you're communicating with your peers. They automatically put you in classes where you're encouraged to do joint research group projects, where you have to communicate with people that you don't normally, like, would reach out a hand to. And I think that it's another it's almost like a close-knit community within a close-knit community.
Yeah.
And having that is so special, and I think everyone should apply or at least get the chance to experience it, because it's been great.
Yeah, because like you're saying, like all the people you're working with, they're your neighbors too. Like you live with these people.
Oh yeah, you're in Finch for 2 years.
Yeah.
And like you can complain about Finch if you want, but living with someone, it gets you great exposure on how to live with people. You know, like your roommate, don't like your roommate. You'll like your suite mate, maybe. You'll like the person across the hall from you. Like, you will find somebody within the program who you share interests with. And for me, that was my, freshman year suite mate, Anna. We got along so well. We did everything together. We went on family vacations together afterwards. And then because Shu was a year above me, I hadn't met her yet. But then in my sophomore year, I joined Alpha Phi Omega, and we rushed together. And I was like, wait, you're in honors too? And then I completely didn't even realize. She's like, I had the room across from you the year before. And you see all these, like, little connections here and there that just bring you together that you didn't even know were there in the first place. And so I made friends with Shu outside of honors. And then she's become, like, one of my best friends of all time. And I only found out after I met her through APO that she was an honor student. And then we bonded over that too. And so I think everyone's just kind of like interconnected.
Yeah, we've never talked about this on the podcast before, but that is another like aspect of honors is a lot of the friendships are like reverse engineered. Mm-hmm, yeah. Like you become friends outside of honors, and then you find out you're both in honors. It's like, oh, I guess that's why we're vibing.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
Because that happened to us too. Part of the same
community. Yeah, no, exactly. Like we met in, where did we meet?
We met in, oh my gosh, what's your name? Dr. Leclerc's French literature class.
Yes. I had seen you in Charcoal Pony before, but we definitely met like officially in Dr. Leclerc's class.
Yeah.
And
I was so intimidated in that because I was like, dang, these French girls are, they're so cool and so smart. And like, I was like, obviously she's a senior. She's so cool. She knows what everything, she's like too cool. And she was and then you were like, I found out you're in honors, and then you were less intimidating to me. It's like, oh, she's been through it. She's been through it.
We know we've had the same curriculum. We know where we're at. But yeah, the whole French thing. I guess if we're getting into that portion of it, I had actually never taken a foreign language before I got to High Point.
Really?
Yeah,
You don't have that in your home states.
Oh, see, like you would think, but I went to a vocational school, which is not everyone's typical path. Vocational schools are stereotypically meant to put you into the workforce. They have HVAC, plumbing, carpentry. They're, niche skill-oriented places. Yeah. But our school, my high school that I went to, we also had health technology, which you became a CNA before you even left high school.
Ooh.
You could go into dental. You could go into marketing. I was in marketing for the time that I was there. I was in carpentry, and then I switched. And because we had a vocation, that was your foreign language. Because the way that our school system worked was we had 1 week of academics, and then the next week you had your shop or your vocation. So you weren't taking academic classes every other week.
That's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool, but you'd have like a packet of work to complete during that time for each of your classes, so it was still a lot of work to do. But it was really, really interesting, but given that our AP courses were extended, because we had half as much class time. So AP US History turned into a 2-year course. There were a lot of things like that, and it didn't allow us to take foreign language because we didn't have enough time to complete our core curriculum that we needed. So foreign language kind of was pushed to the wayside. But I mean, I took Spanish in like 8th grade, I think. But then I really wasn't
you don't
good
remember.
at it. Yeah, it was that was a while ago. But then I got here and I have my foreign language requirement to fulfill. So I was like, you know what? My last name is French. I was like, I know there's some ancestry there. Let's just try a French class. See how it goes. And I found another one of my best friends in French. My friend Shelby and I.
Shelby.
Yes, we've been in classes together for the past 3 years.
Dang.
We have done so much together, and she's not even in honors, and she still involves herself in, honors people. She's good friends with Shu, and I think that it's great to have these different avenues that we can explore and then kind of bring people together. She, like, I think she is probably the French community that we have at High Point University is so small and it is so niche that I had one class last semester where there was 4 people in it. That was it. Myself and 3 others. And we just got to chat with our professor as he was teaching us. And it was a very calming environment. It wasn't stressful. You can communicate about anything without really needing to sit there and raise your hand and wait to get called on. You know, the class didn't move forward until we were all on the same page. I have a class right now, there's only 7 people in it. And these are how my French classes have looked for the past 2 years. And now I feel so much more immersed in another culture. I've gotten to go on a Maymester to France, and me and Shelby also did that together, which was really fun. And there's just so many things that I didn't know that I could learn. And I've realized that a lot of people kind of get nervous when they're like, do I like learning, or am I doing this because I have to be here, because I need a job, because I need these things? But I picked up French because I wanted to.
Yeah.
I'm going to be an English professor someday. I chose French purely because I enjoyed it, and because I enjoyed the teachers and I enjoyed the friends that were around me. And I've had a fantastic 4 years. I've gotten to travel to other countries. I now am partially fluent. I wouldn't give myself fluent status yet, but I can understand people. I can speak French. And I think that it's something that is undervalued. Bilingualism is so not something that a lot of people consider. I think that there are so many cultures that just know how to speak English. And they know how to speak their native language. And we don't have enough of that encouragement here at U.S. schools, I don't think. There are some schools that do Spanish integrative programs. But I think it's a tragedy that I got to go 4 years throughout high school and have never learned another language. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of sad. I think people should be, as a duty to humanity, as a duty to themselves as a person, should be going out of their way to experience other cultures and try to learn a different language and try to communicate with people that are different than you and that have had different life experiences and that maybe aren't from your home country. And I think that that's something that I've learned to value over my time here also, because the World Languages Department is so close-knit and they care so much about what they do. Like, I'll just give a shout-out to all the professors that I've had. Dr. Madame Leclerc, Dr. Monsieur Leclerc, and then Dr. Depenois. All 3 of them are absolutely fantastic. And they have taught me the importance of caring about your schoolwork and caring about the things that you put your time and energy into. And that's something that I think everyone could use.
I know. And, like, because I've only had class with Madame Leclerc, and that was probably one of the hardest classes I've ever taken. Mm-hmm. But I also cared so much about it. And I'm just English, but it was like the novels of the French 19th century, and some of them were objectively bad. Yeah. They're not good, but like I like cared so much about like doing the reading every night and like being ready to discuss in class, and I just like that was like what learning was supposed to be, and like that's what education was about. And I really like respect Madame Leclerc and like other professors who are like that, and like they understand like how to like spark that in the students.
They make you want to care.
Yeah.
I wrote my final research paper for Madame Leclerc in that class, and I've never been prouder of a piece of work that I've put out there. I'm presenting it at High Perks.
Me too.
Yeah, I know. We're so excited. I know. I'll be at your presentation, by the way. And I have never been prouder of a piece of work that I've put out, and I didn't realize that I could feel that for just... Like, I know I'm saying just, but a lot of people don't value their academic output as much as others do, and I think that it's something that we undervalue. And people are like, oh, like, why am I doing research? Why am I doing this? I mean, somebody cares about it. There's always someone out there who cares about what you're doing. If not anyone else, you should care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I felt so proud of the work that I did because it was something that was able to integrate English and French because it was the French literature class. And
but she like something I loved about Dr. Leclerc too is she cared so much about like our other interests, and like I feel like a lot of professors are like, no, this is my area of expertise, you should only care about what we're doing in class and like make that. But she was like, because I'm also a theater major, so she's like, oh, there's like theatricality, and that's what I ended up writing my whole paper on. And it was like, yeah, obviously, like this is what learning is. It's like making these interdisciplinary connections, and it's so cool.
No, I really do love that. Like the other day, just yesterday in my French class, there's only 7 of us, and we were learning how to just kind of write descriptive statements on the fly about a picture that we see, using different past tenses and like different verb conjugations. And instead of just, giving us a template of what to do, Monsieur Leclerc put up pictures of us that he found on the internet and had us describe each other in sentences. And he took pictures from LinkedIn, from our old high school's like internet pages. Like he found a photo of me from my sophomore year of high school's volleyball photo. And he was like, look it's baby Paige. I'm like, where did you find that? But the teachers here go out of their way to be funny like that and make a connection with you, where another teacher would have just been like, oh, here are the different tenses that we're working with. Now make 3 sentences about this online GIF that I found. And then you're like, okay, cool. He had us actively engaged, waiting for our photo to pop up on the screen so that we can describe ourselves and see what he found on the internet to, see the class's reaction. And so that was really, really funny. But just an example of, like, how personalized the French department is and how much they care. And it's the same thing with the English department. The English department is just a little bit bigger. So they have a lot of more people to counsel, a lot more people to spread their love across to. Where the French department is a little more close-knit because not everyone's out here going for a French minor or major, which they should.
They should. Do your language, guys. Yeah. Pick up those minors. Like, it's so easy to pick up a minor. It's just like one class a semester.
I'm a major, but you don't need to be a major. Be a minor. Like, don't overkill yourself if you don't have to, or if you, don't have the time. Just do something small for yourself.
Yeah.
And that can be picking up that minor. It's already a part of your, if it's within your credits and you're paying for it.
Yeah.
Might as well capitalize on every opportunity that you can.
It's just, we don't need to get into it, but like, do your language. Yes. Do your research.
Do your research. Do your work.
Really cool.
Care about things.
We're talking back to Dr. Leclerc in the academic essay. We kind of talked about like the effect of AI and stuff on the creative side of things. Like, what do you think the future of like the academic essay is and like rhetorical writing?
I think the people who care and the people who want to pursue higher education will inevitably steer away from AI. I think that people who are here to get a degree and to leave are going to fall back on AI, not necessarily in like English or creative writing. I mean, if you're an English major and you're using AI to help write your essays, number 1, you should know better. Number 2, just don't. That's just a rule of thumb. Any English teacher will tell you that. Like, it's heavily frowned upon. But I know that, other majors who don't necessarily see that side of it, see the negative impact that can have on creative thinking, on writers' abilities, because maybe they don't value their writing skills, because it's not something that they necessarily care about. It will have long-term negative effects on critical thinking to anyone who decides to use AI for research papers, for all of that fun stuff. So I guess it's just like a personal opinion, but I think a lot of people, especially in our department, share this opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe just steer away from that. Like, don't give in to the easily accessible way to access information when you yourself are so smart and so bright and you have the power to think of these things yourself.
Yeah.
And JSTOR exists. And we have it free access through the HPU libraries. You can find any article on any topic that you want to research. And it's probably a 10-page article. And instead of doing that extra work, you're going to go to ChatGPT and use some AI. No. Just a personal choice, I guess, people have to make.
Yeah. Well, obviously, they are going to do it.
Oh, yeah. No, people are going to do it regardless.
Yeah, the English major is like a minority of people. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like, I don't know. Because then that changes education as a whole,
Yeah, I think we have less than 150 people in the major.
That's more than I thought.
Really? Yeah. I think
Yeah,
it's...
I feel like I'm a fake English major because I changed it to it sophomore year. No, I'm a real English major. I was like,
You are a real English major. Own it.
yeah, but like I own the theater major as my main one. Like you're English French. I feel like I'm theater English.
Yeah, but I think...
Like I don't have
yeah.
friends. I don't have English major friends. I feel like.
I think community also helps you, feel more a part of the major that you're in.
Yeah.
But never downplay the work that you do for the education that you're pursuing. So even though you find your friends in the theater mostly,
Yeah.
like you are still an English major. You still have... You're a major, right?
Yeah.
Okay, correct. You still have that community to fall back on if you need it, but also the input that you've put into the program is just as much as the next person. You've done the classes that you need to do. You have spoken to your professors about how to get better at writing. You've done all these things that everyone else should be doing too. And I think that community is really important, but it also makes us forget that these are other things that we do. I was like, oh yeah, French is just like a fun hobby. And then they were like, no, but like, Paige, that's your second major. Like, you love French. I'm like, no, I do love French. And they were like, isn't it almost more important because you're doing it purely because you love it and you're not even using it in the future?
Yeah.
Like, you're not even teaching French. This is just something you decided to pick up because you genuinely care about it. And, I genuinely care about English, obviously, but I know that that has a set path for me for a job and an academic future that I really want. And I care about both of them so much, but we forget the importance of the majors and the minors that we're in because we don't put enough value on our own wants and interests. We put too much value on what society wants for us.
Retweet.
So I want to be a professor, but that's a job. So obviously my parents were like, English literature, English, this is your thing. English is your thing. French is also my thing. They just see that as the thing that's going to make me money eventually. So that is their importance. And that translates onto me sometimes. And I forget that French is just as important. But it's because it's depicted as more of a personal interest that it's diminished by other people or by myself even. But we also have to care exponentially, like, more about the things that our hearts want to do just for the love of the game. For the love of the game. Like, This is what we're doing.
Like, you need to water all parts of yourself, even... Because the thing I always remind people about, like, doing art and hobby is, like, you're not supposed to be good at it. You're supposed to love it. And, like, something I hate about, like, the compartmentalization of, like, modern society is, like you're compartmentalized into your major and to your career focus and like that's your identity. And it's like, no, that's just like part of how you live, part of how you support yourself. It's your moneymaker. But you have all these other parts of you that are equally just as important. And I'm always like, I believe everyone is an artist and like has potential to be art, and like everyone should make art because we are all creative people. Most of it probably won't be good. It's not going to be like Oscar winning, Grammy award winning, whatever, but like it's important for you to like have those processes and experience art. So it's good. So speaking of your career, you want to become a professor, English professor. So what's next for you after you graduate?
In
High Point?
like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It's crazy.
Crazy times.
Right now, I have I got accepted into a lot of graduate schools, which is really exciting because I applied for creative writing MFA programs.
Congratulations.
And it is competitive. And I am currently looking at Stony Brook University or Emerson College. And those are my two choices right now. I should decide by April 15th.
Oh.
So I will be making a decision very soon. But after my MFA program, which is a 2-year program, I will be applying for PhD programs in English literature. So having the creative writing MFA and then going for my English lit PhD, I will be able to teach so many different kinds of courses when I get to the teaching level. Once I'm, professionally working for a college, I'll be able to teach creative writing, writing fiction, writing poetry. Hopefully I'll be a published poet by then.
Oh.
So that'll be really fun.
That'll be really fun.
And then I can teach English Lit and maybe some theory. I have to take some theory classes. That's something I have to get on. But that would also be really, really interesting. And so I never want to close any doors. So I'm leaving as many avenues open as possible. I even applied for schools in France for English department, like programs,
Okay.
which I got into the American University of Paris, which is really cool, which is also an option out there for me. But just to stay cheap and to stay local,
Yeah.
the more ideal options are here. So
Really cool. Well, I hope you are able to do exactly what your heart wants you to do.
And I think that's where I'm headed. So if I can, be happy in the future while doing the things that I love and I care about, that's kind of like the biggest win ever, because a lot of people can't even get to that point sometimes.
Yeah.
Where their job is the thing that they care about most.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's something we should think about.
Yeah.
Like, you should care about what you do, and like your life should make sense in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really good. You're a really impressive person, Paige.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Reed. You're an impressive person.
I'm trying, doing my best. So having almost completed your high point journey and thinking about the undergrad experience and like college as a whole, how would you identify and define like what is the point of college, of higher education?
The point of higher education, I think, is to allow our brains to grow and expand and critically think about things. Not only, a lot of people will say that college is a scam, but I have learned so much about myself, about who I am as a person, about the things that I care about. I've had 4 years to determine what I want to do with my life, and I still have a job in the process. I work, I go to school, and I guess the point is to experience life. And college isn't for everybody, but I think that everyone who goes to college will come out gaining something that they didn't have before, whether it's a new perspective, whether it's a degree, whether it's friends. You determine what matters to you, and no one else can take that away from you. So there are some people who don't want to go to college, and that's completely fine. That's not their path. But for those who are considering taking a higher education route, it is what you make it, and only you can define what is important to you, and only you can define what success looks like to you. A lot of people will try to tell you what success is, whether it's making money, whether it's getting a degree, getting 2 degrees, getting 3, whether it's not going to school at all because you think that college is a scam and you're saving your money and you're being financially, wise in that regard. Success is going to look different to everybody. So anyone that's going into college just needs to know that the higher education is what you make it, and only you can define what your success looks like based on your happiness and where you want to go in life. So
That was a good English answer.
thank you. I try.
I would read that. I hear that in the conclusion of an essay.
Yeah.
All right.
Clip
And then
that.
the closing question for the podcast is
Yeah.
not my question. So I have a leave a question tradition where the previous guest has left a question for you to answer,
that's fun.
and then you will leave a question for the next guest.
Okay.
So the previous guest would like to know, is there any club or activity that you wish you would have joined sooner or at all?
I wish that I had been a part of club softball, actually. And I really loved playing softball growing up. I played it since the age of 4 or 5, all the way up through my senior year of high school. And some people really care about sports, some people don't, but sports was a really big part of my upbringing, and that's where I found a lot of my community. So I forgot about that when I got here a little bit because I had the volleyball experience, but I forgot how much being in a group of powerful and like-minded women was, especially when it comes to sharing the same sport or hobby. And I really wish that I had stuck with that. I think I showed up to 1 tournament that got rained out.
Yeah.
And then I got really busy, but I'll never have that opportunity again to be on a softball team like that, where I get to wear the uniform and play in tournaments. That won't be a mom league when I'm 30. So I really do wish that I did that from freshman year through now. But, we can't change that, but I can still look back and say that I loved the sport for the time that I had it and for what it was to me when I was younger.
Yeah, I sympathize because tennis was my big thing in high school, and I swore I was going to keep doing it in college, but like, it's like your commitments are larger in college. Like it's just less commitments, and you commit to them more.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about for you guys considering college as well.
It is.
Well, that's that. I'm gonna pass this over to you.
Beautiful.
You can choose your color. It can be absolutely anything, and then date it and initial it.
Which is initials.